Sometimes respect isn't lost because you're weak. It's lost because you say too much. We live in a world where men are constantly talking, explaining themselves, defending their choices, trying to be understood, and without realizing it, every extra word quietly gives away power. A truly intelligent man doesn't fight for attention. He doesn't rush to answer. He doesn't speak just to fill silence. Stoic philosophy teaches something uncomfortable but freeing. Your value is not created by how much you explain. It's revealed by how carefully you choose your words. In this video, I'll share 3 simple things an intelligent man says that instantly earns silent respect. Not through dominance, not through charm, but through clarity, restraint, and self-control. These aren't clever lines. They're verbal expressions of inner discipline. Stay until the end, because the third one is where most men unconsciously lose their authority. Let's begin. 1. I'll think about it. Most men answer too fast. They hear a question, a request, a suggestion, and immediately feel pressure to respond. Yes, no, maybe, an explanation, a justification. Why? Because silence feels dangerous. Silence feels like hesitation. Silence feels like weakness. But that belief is wrong. An intelligent man understands something most people don't. The fastest response is rarely the strongest one. When you say, "I'll think about it," you're not avoiding the situation. You're reclaiming control over it. This sentence does 3 powerful things at once. First, it slows the frame. You're no longer reacting to someone else's urgency. You're setting your own pace. Second, it signals self-trust. You're saying, without saying it, "I don't need to rush to please you. I trust my judgment enough to pause." And third, it creates space. Space to observe. Space to evaluate. Space to respond deliberately, not emotionally. Stoic philosophy places enormous value on this pause. Epictetus reminded us that it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The moment you rush to respond, you surrender that judgment. Think about how this plays out in real life. At work, someone pushes a last-minute request. Instead of scrambling or refusing defensively, you say, "I'll think about it." In relationships, someone tests your availability or boundaries. Instead of over-explaining or committing too quickly, you say, "I'll think about it." Even in conflict, this sentence acts like a shield. It prevents you from saying something you'll later regret. It protects your long-term position. Notice something important here. You're not being rude. You're not being distant. You're not being passive. You're being deliberate. And people feel that. Most people are driven by impulse. They speak to relieve tension. They answer to reduce discomfort. So when someone doesn't do that, when someone remains calm, centered, unhurried, it stands out. That contrast creates silent respect, because restraint signals strength. A man who can pause is a man who cannot be easily pushed. A man who cannot be easily pushed is a man others adjust to. Here's the practice. For the next week, replace immediate answers with this sentence. "I'll think about it." Say it neutrally. Say it calmly. And then actually think. Not about how to keep others comfortable, but about what aligns with your values, your time, and your direction. Remember this. A man who controls his response controls the frame, and frame control, quiet, unannounced, unemotional, is one of the clearest signals of intelligence there is. 2. That doesn't work for me. Most men struggle with one thing more than they admit: setting boundaries without guilt. So when something feels wrong, inconvenient, or misaligned, they soften their words. They say things like, "I'm sorry, but I don't know. Maybe. I wish I could, but here's why." And with every extra sentence, they quietly give up leverage. An intelligent man doesn't do that. He understands a simple, stoic truth. Clarity is not cruelty. When he says, "That doesn't work for me," He's not attacking. He's not defending. He's not negotiating his worth. He's stating a fact. This sentence is powerful because it removes emotion from the exchange. There's no blame, no apology, no explanation. Just a calm declaration of reality. Stoicism teaches that you are responsible for your choices, not for managing everyone else's feelings about them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we waste much of our lives trying to live inside other people's expectations. Boundaries are how you step out of that trap. Look at how this plays out. At work, someone pushes a task that isn't yours. Instead of justifying why you're busy or overworked, you say, "That doesn't work for me." In your personal life, someone repeatedly crosses a line. Your time, your energy, your standards. Instead of hoping they'll notice, you say, "That doesn't work for me." Notice what's missing. No anger, no story, no need to convince. And that's exactly why it earns respect. People who are used to over-explainers feel unsettled by this sentence. They look for the crack, the opening where they can argue, persuade, or pressure. But there is none. Because you didn't make it personal, you made it principled. Stoically speaking, this is discipline in speech. You align your words with your values and let others deal with the adjustment. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men learn late. The more you explain your boundaries, the more people see them as negotiable. Silence plus clarity changes that. Now, this doesn't mean you become cold or hostile. It means you stop trading self-respect for temporary comfort. Here's the practice. The next time you feel the urge to over-explain, pause. Say the sentence once. "That doesn't work for me." Then stop talking. Let the silence do its work. If someone respects you, they'll adjust. If they don't, you've learned something valuable, without raising your voice or lowering your standards. Remember this: you don't need to justify your boundaries to make them valid. And a man who protects his boundaries calmly doesn't need to demand respect. He receives it, quietly. 3. I don't need to prove that. This is where most men lose their power, not because they're wrong, but because they feel the need to prove they're right. They argue, they justify, they list achievements, they explain intentions, and every time they do, they unknowingly hand control to the other person. An intelligent man doesn't. When he says, "I don't need to prove that," he's not being arrogant, he's being grounded. This sentence signals something rare. His identity is not up for debate. Stoic philosophy is very clear here. Your worth is internal. It comes from character, not applause. Marcus Aurelius warned against living as if the opinions of others were a court you must constantly defend yourself in. The moment you try to win that court, you've already lost your freedom. Think about how often men fall into this trap. A disagreement turns into a performance. A conversation turns into a trial. And suddenly, you're no longer speaking truth. You're selling an image. An intelligent man opts out. He understands that results speak louder than explanations. In the workplace, instead of listing credentials, he lets consistency do the talking. In relationships, instead of convincing someone of his value, he watches how they treat him and decides accordingly. In arguments, instead of escalating, he disengages when the exchange stops being productive. That's where this sentence becomes powerful. I don't need to prove that. It closes the loop. It says, my actions already speak. My values aren't up for negotiation. My self-respect doesn't depend on your agreement. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself, people start paying closer attention. Why? Because confidence without performance is rare, and rare things are observed. Stoicism teaches detachment not as indifference, but as self-mastery. You detach from the need to be validated. You detach from the need to win every exchange. And in doing so, you regain authority over yourself. This doesn't mean you never explain anything. It means you choose when explanation is worth your energy. There's a difference between clarity and convincing, between communication and self-defense. The intelligent man knows that difference. Here's the practice. The next time you feel pulled into a debate where the goal isn't understanding, but ego, pause. Ask yourself one question. Is this about truth or about proving myself? If it's the second one, step back. Say nothing. Or say this, calmly, I don't need to prove that. And let the silence stand. Because silence backed by integrity is heavier than any argument. Remember this. The moment you stop proving, people start observing. And observation, not persuasion, is where real respect is born. Silent respect is earned, not demanded. So let's bring this together. 3 simple things an intelligent man says. I'll think about it. That doesn't work for me. I don't need to prove that. None of them are aggressive. None of them are clever. None of them beg for attention. And that's exactly why they work. Stoicism isn't about dominating conversations. It's about disciplining yourself so your words carry weight. When you slow your response, you stop being reactive. When you state boundaries without explanation, you stop negotiating your worth. When you let go of proving yourself, you stop leaking authority. Respect doesn't come from being loud. It comes from alignment between what you say, what you tolerate, and how you act when no one is watching. Most people will never do this. They'll keep explaining, keep justifying, keep performing, and that contrast will quietly separate you. So here's the real question. Which one of these sentences do you need to start using today? Let me know in the comments. If this resonated, take a second to like the video and subscribe. Not for motivation, but as a reminder to keep choosing discipline over impulse. I leave you with this Stoic affirmation. I speak less, I mean more. And that's where real respect begins.